I spent 2 weeks in South Africa exploring the Southern African Wildlife College as well as the Kruger National Park. I took a lot of journal entries and I'm going to share some of them with you today. Sunday, March 23rd, our last day at the Southern African Wildlife College. Today we had to say goodbye to Scott and Kewen and our friends at the college who showed us a wonderful time. And we were headed to Kruger National Park. So no longer on a private game reserve, now we're going into the public lands, the national park. Our first night camp will be at Letaba. We stopped at a small hill and got a tour of the remains of an ancient tribe where we had previously called a small mountain home. Once we got to Letaba, we visited the Tusker Museum, where the largest elephants in history were held. Standing next to these giants makes your jaw drop, thinking about our ancestors hunting these animals with spears and bow and arrows. At this point, we were no longer eating at the college and instead had a personal chef, who I called Mama. And she came with us into Kruger National Park and would be responsible for all of our lunches and dinners moving forward. She always made sure to take care of us, and her food is some of the best I have ever had, and I was looking forward to dinner every single day. Monday, the 24th, we got up around 3 a.m. for a 4:15 a.m. safari, and I was not awake enough to really be present for it. What really got me awake, though, was when the truck came up on 2 cheetahs who were hunting in the early morning. We followed them along a roadway. They continued to walk down the road while we slowly idled behind them for maybe 10 minutes, and we got to watch them slowly walk off into the bush. We saw a large male elephant in musk who was eating in the early morning light. We then saw a hyena laying in the road, and as we approached, I thought it was dead. It didn't move at all until we were within 15 feet of it. Then I realized she lethargically got up and moved only 3 to 5 feet off the road. Acting super strange, I didn't know what she was doing. She was laying a couple of feet from a drainage culvert, and within a few minutes of watching her, 3 cubs popped their heads out of the drain and began to cry, wanting to be fed. 2 of the cubs were active and brave and leaving the culvert to feed off of Mom. But one of the pups who was clearly the runt and was not as big, was not willing to leave the culvert to try and get some food. Our tour guide said that it's likely that only one of these pups would survive, and only the most aggressive. Eventually, one would kill the other 2. It was a little sad, but it's also part of life. We finished the safari with a lovely breakfast from Mama and packed up to head to our next camp, Satara. During the multi-hour drive from Letaba to Satara, we saw many new animals. I got my first great view of a wild giraffe, and we saw a wild ostrich. Letaba was wonderful, with the Tusker Museum and a great pool to relax in for a bit after a long day of travel. So expectations were a little high for a chance to relax at the pool at Satara. However, when Patrick, Rick, Kewen, and I showed up with our 6-packs ready to chill, we were met with a sad watering hole with cloudy green water that seemed to be 60% children running around and 40% pee. We decided to abandon the swim and opted to drink back at our cabins. A good ending to a long day.